thought you were going to.
All right.
He's been waiting all night for this.
Yeah, I don't want to talk back in head.
That's all right.
And I need
Don't just.
to make sure that I take Jackie's recorder.
There was a 4-minute curriculum last night.
All right. You guys have been here for 2.5 hours. So
That's good.
Let me try
That's
to,
it.
let me try to be
Missed the
as I
30,
can,
40-minute
huh?
meeting.
Okay.
Done last night.
That's.
So here we are in April, the 1920 proposed budget. What a couple things I want to go through with you tonight. District capital project funds, debt service, status of 1920 budget, and as I put on every one of my presentations, what's our path moving forward. So capital projects fund, we came into the fiscal year $19.7 million. We had about $1.7 million of last summer's projects to pay off this fiscal year. Fiscal year closes on June 30th, July 1st, so they always go over fiscal years. Next summer, summer 19, the bids that we just approved, $5.3 million. The year 20 through 25 projects from the capital projects plan is another $10.6 million. $750,000 set aside for the stuff that we just talked about in technology. That will do it, plus anything else that may come our way. Leaves us with $1.2 million if we don't add any additional dollars out through 2025. So capital projects funding right now is in
Solid.
pretty solid shape to get us
Are you
through.
going to give us hard copies of this, Mr. Doward?
This?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll post it tomorrow, and
That wasn't my question.
I'll have Jackie make it.
I can read it here. I prefer to have a
Actually,
hard
I
copy.
have one in my folder I can hand you.
Okay.
Okay. Debt service, we have 5 more years at our roughly $13 million debt service payment. The blue is the principal, and the yellowish ugly color, whatever that is,
Ugly.
yeah, is the interest. And you
That's
see
Texas burnt orange.
yeah, as you go out, the blue goes up and the orange comes down. That's how you like to see it. Then we have year 2025 where it drops in half to about $6 million. And then the next year it goes down to about $4 million and maintains that for 4 years. And then after that drops to about $627,000. And that actually goes out to the year 2044. That debt is the VOTEC debt. When we get here, we finished paying off all the Pennridge debt.
Yes.
And we just have the VOTEC debt that's sitting there.
Interesting.
This is an opportunity for some refinancing and some reshuffling, and maybe, and this was built this way based on a stacking method. So the thought would have been, when they put all this debt in place, that the district would do more projects, need more debt, and then they would just build it on top of these levels out here. So they were trying to keep the $13.5 million steady, and then tacking it on and building it as it went out. But the district did really 2 things: it stopped building and stopped renovating because we ran out of projects. Plus, the very important thing is we started funding our own capital projects internally and stopped borrowing money. So that's why that looks that way. So this is an opportunity to move some debt and save some interest out here.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that looks when we get closer to that period of time. So that is on the horizon, okay?
Well, and that's why the 6-year capital projects plan is so important, because
Right.
if you would borrow more debt in these 6 years, all you're gonna do is keep stacking that across.
Stacking it up.
And so this ends it and lets us prioritize so that, any of those bigger expenses we can actually pay for as we go, rather than borrowing more money and continuing out the debt.
Exactly. Now, if something big does happen, something terrible happens and we need to do something massive with a building or something like that, we have the space, the capacity out here to put the debt in place also. It's not going to be a big, huge impact on the budget if we had to put debt in place.
I think the only problem with the stacking method, though, is when you're delaying a loan to start, like your payments to start back on the loan, you just accrue
You
interest
pay some
on
more
interest for years until you get to that next stack.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem.
Yeah, you're paying interest to be able to delay the principal payment in order to offset the impact of raising taxes.
And then
So that's
when you look at how much you borrowed, by how much, you can compare that to how much you paid in the end,
Sure.
it's a big difference. And when you look at the last couple loans that got taken out, and that's exactly what happened. And then, you know, that's why this would be so important if we could pay as we go, and then it'll be a lot less the first time, right?
You're not gonna build a high school or even a middle school without borrowing money.
Yeah, but there's other things.
Maybe not even an elementary school at the current cost.
I don't think you can, Peter.
I mean, you're talking tens of millions of dollars
40 to 50 million probably
for
elementary
an
school.
elementary school of this day and age.
Probably 100 to 150 million for a high school this size.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
You guys good with this one?
yep,
All right. Act 1 index, just to show you again what it is, what it means. We're at 135.255. Index is 2.3%. It would be about a 3.11 mil tax increase. Average would be just under $100 per homeowner based on the median assessed value for the homestead farmstead. Good news, and it would be about 1.9 million. Good news is we don't need it.
Right.
I'd like you to keep it in your, just I like to keep showing it to you, just even tell you we don't need it. Okay, Act 1 index history. I want to show you, here's the index over the last number of years, and here we are at 2.3. The thing I wanted to show you about this one is next year they're predicting 2.3, and they being PDE. The following year, it's actually predicted to go up to 2.8, 3.0, and 3.2. So PDE is predicting that the index is going to start to grow.
And what is it? What is causing that prediction to be? Because for years it's been under 3%, and then
Wage growth.
so is it
Here's-
age?
Well,
Yes.
wage growth,
Oh.
right, because it's a combination of two sets of wage indices.
It's a combination of statewide average weekly wage, and they're showing it to grow.
Right.
I'm doing it.
It's a touch screen. Yeah, it's a touch screen.
And employment cost index.
Drives the wage
And
increase.
also-
it's creepy, isn't
And then
it?
it's average between those
Right,
two.
exactly.
Well, a lot of that's the economy. The economy is
Exactly.
getting better, so
Right.
wages are going
Right.
up.
Wages are
So
going
that's
So, well, and the full employment and all of that goes into it.
Okay. Revenue changes since last month were done, expenditure changes none, and we're still balanced with no tax increases. Just the revenue summary, same things I showed you last month. Almost $104 million of our revenue comes from local and 32.7 from the state. And expenditure summary, same pretty chart, it's on the peak. This is a new one. This is the positions that we've changed around within the budget. So all these changes are funded within the budget that was in place in the current year. So we have assistant superintendents, 2 positions, previous positions, director of admin, director of curriculum. New 4 curriculum supervisors, that was 6 curriculum supervisors, 3 instructional coaches. We're redistributing current funds from the savings, from the changes to pay for those. STEM/gifted teachers, 2.6 of those. They're in this current year budget as STEM/Spanish positions. Lunchroom playground aides, 14 of those positions. We're using the redistribution of the savings from these other changes to pay for that. School police officer/director of security was a security guard. School police officer was a security guard, and part-time security guard. We're using the redistribution of the funds from the changes there to make this group of changes based on Dr. Bolton's plan. So.
And I think, I love this chart
Yeah.
because it really highlights how much more support we're putting directly into the classroom with the kids.
Exactly.
And you know, and how much more time we're giving teachers to work with kids and do enrichment and remediation with all of that extra time for them to pull kids, so
Yeah.
excited
So
about that.
that's your superintendent's plan, so if you want to do an applause now. Okay, and these are the new requested positions in the budget that the board has talked about and agreed to do. We've got the one guidance counselor at the middle school for to increase the guidance capacity there. We have the teaching assistant at the high school in life skills. We have a half a speech therapist due to our enrollment in that program, and we have the half cap room made based on the program expansion so that we can do more with the online kids and pull more of those kids back from those outside charter schools and charter schools.
And that's the same that you saw last month. There's nothing new there. We just wanted to put it in 2 slides that you saw, kind of new money and reallocated money is kind of those 2 slides to that piece.
Budget timeline, here we are in April. Some things happen at the state. Budget secretary is going to tell us how much is in the property tax relief fund. They're supposed to tell us by May 1st how much we're going to get, but we'll get the letter on May 23rd, and it'll be dated May 1st.
There you go.
Our next meeting
But
is...
I'm sure it'll be postmarked the right date, right?
No, they don't have to worry about that. They just date whatever they want. Next finance meeting is May 7th. We will have Dr. Scheid here that night to go over her budgets. We need to do the first vote on this balanced budget with no tax increase on May 13th. And then we do our advertising and all that good stuff. June 11th is the next finance meeting. We shouldn't really have anything to do that night with the budget. And then June 17th will be the great night where we pass the budget, which is balanced with no tax. And then that gives us time to start cranking out tax bills and get them into the taxpayers' hands by July 1st. So that's why we do earlier meetings in May and June. So, okay, anybody have anything?
Good job.
It's
Awesome.
Excellent.
Yep.
This is, you're very excited.
Yeah, good job.
Excellent.
Thank
job.
you. Thank you, Dr. Bolton. Thank you, Sean.
Well, I have
for
to
your
tell you
work.
that I've
Hard work.
lived through this process in 3 school districts as an administrator, right? Because obviously as a teacher, is far more detailed than I've seen in any other system. And so the conversation and the scrubbing of budgets and the conversation about why and can that wait a year and what is the purpose and what are the goals, right? We really, most of these initiatives are tied to things that we know we want to do in the next 3 to 5 years. So you start moving towards that. But really, Mr. Dahlberg is the one who put this process in place and then has his department doing that. So it is not, I mean, it's awesome to see this and it's great. You go, yeah, okay, from last month it's still really good news. But I don't want us to lose the sight of the amount of work and the hours that are poured into that to make that happen. So I do it. So, thank you.
No more work on the state, on their budget.
No, no.
Peter, you say funny things.
Last year, they talked about moving forward to get it done by the 30th of June, which they did. Several other years, they didn't, as we all know.
Well, they're
Usually,
talking.
they miss by a fair margin.
They're talking that game. But we'll
At the
see.
end of June
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, they're talking the game.
But
See what happens.
the strange part to me is you hear and see nothing about it, right? I mean,
Right.
you say they're talking, but
Yeah.
I see nothing in the paper, nothing in the technology
Bless you.
coming across
Right.
saying that
Right.
this is what we're proposing, we don't like this that the governor proposed, but we want this. None of that.
Yeah. It's a very strange process.
Yeah, well, right this moment, I think it's a very strange process.
Well, I think, Dr. Yarnell, the more you hear in the public and in the newspapers, the worse the situation is in Harrisburg. I think when it's quiet and they say they're talking, they're actually meeting behind closed doors and they're actually talking about it. But when they're in the public fighting, you know they're really
They're
far
miles
apart.
apart.
So
Good,
I hope it's a good
So
sign.
no news is good news.
I hope so.
right now. Cool,
I'm an optimist.
awesome. Thank
That's
you.
all I have.
All right.
All right. The next finance committee meeting is scheduled for May 7th. Any public comment?
I was gonna say, I hope you have something to say.
All right.
Same
Echo.
rules apply as every single other time I read it. How about that?
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Sue Furlong, West Rock Hill Township. Will you be able to publish the detail behind your debt assumptions for the current and out years? What is the different bond issues and that type of thing? Can you publish that detail?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. Other than that, congratulations on what appears to be a good balanced budget with no increase. I know that's not easy, and I know that it takes a lot of discipline, and I congratulate all of you. I'm very pleased, to say the least, and I hope it gets out there. Okay, I'll do my part to see what I can do, but, you know, you deserve to be congratulated, because it isn't easy to accomplish that. And, like you say, have a reserve where, at least on the moderate sized capital issues, you can fund yourself and not incur the interest. You don't want to see that fund get too high, because some people will tell you, you know, that it shouldn't be that high. I have mixed emotions about that. I understand why it's there, as long as it doesn't get too high. But no, it's a great budget, and you're to be congratulated. And I think you've sent the message as a board, you've received it as administrators, and together I think you've done a great job on that whole deal. So, looking forward to next year. And again, the important thing is not just the money, but the fact that we are delivering to the students. You know, we're not cutting corners on what we're delivering to the students. We're giving them a great opportunity to get a great education if they apply themselves. And that's the most important thing. And to do that with some financial discipline is wonderful. So it's not just the money, it's the education. It's there for any child in Pennridge who wants it. I think that the work environment is a good environment for our staff. They have opportunities to improve and grow themselves. And again, with a balanced budget and not raising the taxes, I don't know, seems like a perfect world. I waited and waited, it's here.
All right.
Was the camera recording?
Yeah.
You specifically.
This wasn't pointed at you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
We're adjourned.
We're adjourned.
Awesome.